more than happy to hear the congressman say they're all going to El Salvador. I think for Republicans, this just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving illegal aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that Democrats feel comes on all these issues that are fundamentally not where the American people are.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and today we got to talk about the circus over at CNN. Once again, Scott Jennings came through and chin-checked the DNC propaganda panel. They're out here defending Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland illegal immigrant who was sent down to El Salvador, even though his wife put out multiple restraining orders against him, and it's been confirmed that he's a part of MS-13. But that hasn't stopped Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen from going down to El Salvador trying to bring him back. It's unbelievable to me, but this is the hill that they are willing to die on. They got so many issues going on over at the left, and conservatives like Scott Jennings and others must continue to call them out on it. We got a couple clips to share. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it.
Green for the Republican Party.
What is the Democratic Party vice chair doing with a pact to take out Democrats?
I will say nobody's entitled to any position. Yeah. And you know what? Nobody, I'm just going to say nobody's entitled to any position that they're in, right? Like, and he's not going to make friends by, launching this endeavor. But the fact is, there are problems, there are challenges that we have as a party and things that do need to be addressed. The favorability of congressional Democrats is lower.
Is this the way to do it?
I'm not going to say if that's the way to do it or not.
I mean, you got to say something.
Hey, look, but I'll tell you, I got into politics.
I'm just saying, you're not in an elected position right now.
I know, but I got into elected office by primarying somebody. Right. That's how I got into office. So, like, I'm not.
Nobody is saying don't primary somebody. I think the question is, Democrats have a lot of problems. Is the issue really taking out their own or adding to their numbers? Is it addition or is it subtraction?
I think the Democrats would benefit from some new energy, quite frankly. And we
love the fact that two Democrats going at each other.
Let me just tell you something. I don't really care what Republicans love or Democrats love. My only point, I'm not a party loyalist, I'm a people loyalist. And the people right now are frightened and upset. And it used to be, one party's playing chess and we're playing checkers. Right now, one party is playing checkers and the Democrats look like they're going up against somebody playing Grand Theft Auto. They are completely out of their element. And it is frustrating from Chuck Schumer's vote. And they are institutionalists who believe in the party of yesteryear, the goodness of the party of yesteryear, which is black folks I ain't never believed in. So I do think there are members who die in their seats. They do need to tee up a younger generation of people. And I think a lot of the lack of support that Democrats are getting across the board right now is because a lot of people do not see them pushing back and fighting back against a rising authoritarian government. And if David Hogue wants to go after and do that, I applaud him. Like you said, nobody is entitled to elected position.
My question is, how are you going to add to the numbers? Because at the end of the day, you have to add.
You do.
Politics is math.
The biggest number we need to add is the number of people who are voting for us. And if we can inspire confidence in the voting public, if people are showing up excited to vote for Democrats, not just to vote against Donald Trump, I think we're in a much better place.
Johnson is doing cartwheels. I can't believe the Democrat Party elected this young man to be as a vice chair, because anybody who says we're going to fight each other, we're going to eat our own.
Well, Donald Trump just purged everybody and took over it. Donald Trump just took a hostile takeover of the party. So
Mandela, I will say, when on our side, when we were experimenting with some of this infighting, it didn't bode very well for us when you look at some of the elections that we lost. So I would caution.
There was a lot of bad midterms.
So I would caution Democrats, but to your point, I mean, it certainly is good news for Republicans. But something that Tiffany said, I think she has a very legitimate point. If you're a younger person, and I've said this even on our side, there are a lot of politicians who are just old. I'm just being honest. They don't inspire a new generation of leaders. They don't inspire new ideas.
91 years old.
And so if the premise is like, hey, let's energize the next generation of leaders, I can see the legitimacy of that argument. But infighting with your party, dude, that's a horrible strategy.
Go David Hogue.
Yeah, it's a terrible strategy, but it is what it is with them, because they're in a rock and a hard place over at on the Democrat side of things. The people that are, I guess, old school Democrats, and then you got the far left, Marxist, communist, far left progressive wing of the Democrat Party. And there's going to be some infighting, because the reality of it is that the people who have the power within that party right now is the people that are on that far left progressive. They tend to pull more people to rallies. They are the loudest people in the room. They're the loudest people on social media. And they are dragging the Democrat Party down to the pits of hell. Now, I'm not saying that the Democrat Party hasn't always been a death and destruction and an evil institution, because that has always been the case. But they're even far worse than they were 20 years ago. And the reality of it is that wing can't win on the national level. They might be able to win in pockets around the country, but they can't win on the national level. And with a 29% approval rating, you're not going to get people that decided not to vote. You're not going to get them off the couch. And the people that did vote, they're looking at y'all like y'all crazy. And they're saying, you know what? This MAGA movement looks a whole heck of a lot better. We talked about it earlier today in the daggone live stream. 33% of the nation, actually, I think the number was more along the lines of 36% of the nation is in line with the MAGA movement. And I would assume that number is going to continue to increase, because the Democrat Party is the crazy party. It is a party of lunatics. But let's keep it moving.
First of all, I'm more than happy to hear the congressman say they're all going to El Salvador. I think for Republicans, this just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving illegal aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that Democrats feel comes on all these issues that are fundamentally not where the American people are.
Congressman, one second. Congressman, can I give you the chance to respond to that?
Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's Donald Trump that's actually losing the support of the American people. Donald Trump's not focused on lowering the costs of housing, not focused on lowering the price of goods. He's out there deporting people that have legal status to be here, revoking student visas from students that are contributing to this country.
He doesn't have legal status to be here, Congressman. He has a deportation order. You're going to go to El Salvador. You're going to go to maybe go to the grocery store. Like, there's an issue here where you could possibly win on, but you're going to El Salvador instead.
It's okay that someone walking into getting their citizenship, walking into their citizenship test, their citizenship meeting, is being apprehended on the way into their next process, which just happened to somebody in Vermont, and it's happening now across the country. Students are being deported and revoked of their student visas. Yes. Many are not being told why that's the case. That should not be happening in the United States. And certainly someone shouldn't be deported and being left in a prison in a foreign country when the Supreme Court says they should be returned back. And so those are the questions. And by the way, as Democrats and as a Congress and a government, we should be able to do multiple things at the same time. We should be able to take on billionaires who are raiding the government. We should be able to take on Elon Musk, who has no business being in charge of Doge. And yes, protecting the civil rights and human rights of people that are in this country and entrusted to us. And so, yes, Scott, we can do all of those things. And it's Donald Trump who actually defined the Supreme Court and whose numbers are going down.
Kate Bedingfield. I would also just say to your the energy from Democrats on these issues.
The sad part about it is everything that this dude just said is a flat out lie. And that's what a lot of these people do. They get on these platforms like this, supporting the Democrat Party, supporting these illegal immigrants, and they get on here and lie. They can do that on CNN because the young lady right here, with the bad haircut, she is not going to push back. She's not going to fact check. She's not going to do any of that. She's going to allow this dude to spew this false rhetoric. She's just going to do it. Let's check out this clip from Harry Ensign about the support of President Trump and the MAGA movement.
Let's talk about Trump voters and how they feel. Do they regret their vote? I mean, this is the big question, right? I hear all these stories, all these articles. All the Trump voters, they regret what they did back in 2024. I'm here to tell you, very few of them regret what they did back in 2024. What are we talking about? Trump voters looking back at 2024. We got a new poll out. The poll was conducted this month. What percentage would change their vote to a different candidate? We're talking just 2%, just 2%. That's not even a wide spot on the road. And then there's this additional 1% who say they would rather not vote. We're talking overall under 5% might or would have changed their vote, Donald Trump voters back in 2024. And then you ask, okay, the same question to Kamala Harris voters, and it turns out the numbers are rather similar. So if there was a repeat, if folks got to be able to redo their vote that they had back in 2024, would the result be any different? I doubt it would be. Or it would still be extremely close. The bottom line is, for all this talk of Trump voters regretting their vote, in the numbers, it really just doesn't show up, John.
No, it definitely doesn't. And it doesn't show up when you actually have conversations with people either. It just doesn't. Prices are coming down. Gas prices are starting to come down. Inflation is coming down. There was job growth for the month of March. Things are starting to happen. What we do also know is that Wall Street is betting against the country. They're betting against Trump because they want things to stay exactly the way it is. They love China. They love the cheap and free labor over there, and they make money hand over fist behind it. So, of course, they're frustrated. Of course, they're upset. Of course, they're shorting the market right now. They're shorting the nation right now. Of course, they are. But that's going to change. Just hold your horses and stand pat for just a little bit. Give the man some time. He hadn't even been in office 3 months yet. It hadn't even been 100 days. It hadn't even been 100 days. We're close to 3 months. It's almost 90, but it hadn't been 100 days. And these people are acting like the dad going, sky is falling and it's the end of the world. It's crazy.
Well, and it also presents a problem for a lot of Americans, Scott Jennings. Again, the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, picks his words very carefully. He also has, there has been no small amount of tension between him and President Trump. I would just point to this Wall Street Journal headline from November 7th, 2024. You may recall that's about the time that Donald Trump won the election, when Powell says that he won't step down if he's asked to by Trump. I don't imagine that the president is very happy about what the Fed chairman had to say today. Do you see a brewing standoff?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect tickets to the Easter egg roll if I were Chairman Powell right now. Look, I of course, and I'm sure President Trump's going to react negatively to this statement today because he sees it much differently. He sees this as a long-term transformation of the economy. He sees a number of investment announcements that have happened that disprove all the apocalyptic doom and gloom. And he has already said he's willing to accept some short-term pain. And he's asked the American people, or at least his supporters, to accept that as we transform the economy to the benefit of the working class. However, the problem is and will be the trajectory of the economy in the minds of voters come next summer, late summer, and the fall. I think they actually will accept a continued amount of turbulence if they think the trajectory is good. That's really the measurement of how people feel. I don't think all the problems have to be fixed because they know there were myriad problems under the previous administration. But if they think they're on the right track, they'll give them some more leash. If they think they're on the wrong track, that's when you start to run into problems with the voters.
That may be, but I think the challenge Trump's going to have here, there's so few things that a president truly has control over in office. You make all these promises on the campaign trail, you come into office, and then you have to deal with the world as it is. The thing that is so interesting about this is that the chaotic implementation of these tariffs is a huge piece of what's driving the uncertainty in the market and the challenges here. And so it may be true traditionally that if people feel like the economy is moving in the right direction, they're willing to give the president leeway. But Trump has stood up and thrown his arms around this and said, this is my problem. I created it because in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, things are going to be better for you. I think it's going to be really tough in the fall of 2026 to ask voters to say, well, just hold your nose and just wait. And it's going to get better.
Moreover, it's to pick up.
Well, the reality is this. We dealt with 4 years of very bad policy from the previous administration. Policy so bad that we've seen egg prices jump up to $10 almost. We've seen 29% inflation. We got a chance to see that, young people graduating college with no opportunities out there for them. We also know there's no easy way to do what he's doing. Well, we're talking about a full fundamental change to the way the country has been doing business for the better part of almost 100 years or a little over 100 years. Think about this, man. There's no easy way to enact a full-fledged fundamental change without there being a little bit of chaos, without there being a little bit of uncertainty. There's no way to do it. That's no different than if you go in and you buy a company, right? And the company is fledgling, it's not doing that great. You are going to have to go in and make some serious, tough changes. That's going to be letting go of some people, could be meaning letting go of some vendors, maybe changing some hours, changing some policy, around the office, going after new clients. There's going to be some people like, man, what the heck is going on? Because he's shaking up everything. But you got to understand that in order to move forward, we must be willing to take a step back in order to take 2 or 3 steps forward. That's just what it is. And the sad part about it is it sucks because you have mainstream media fear-mongering people because we're not doing things the same way as it's always been done. And if it wasn't for CNN, MSDNC, if it wasn't for, your legacy media, left-leaning people who are in bed, with China. They want to see this country fail. They want to see President Trump fail. If it wasn't for them and they just say, you know what, let's sit back and let's watch. Let's see how this plays out. Most people, I would say more people would say, you know what, let's sit back. But because every day there is a constant dribble of fear-mongering and chastisement of, the initiatives and chastisement of the administration. It's one thing after the next. it has people in a tizzy. But I'd like to see President Trump come out and address the American people and let it be known like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and this is what we think will happen 5-10 years from now. I understand. Please bear with me. We're going to go through a little turbulence. We're going to go through a little bit. But what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about our future. I'm thinking about not just you today, but I'm also thinking about what kind of America are we leaving to our children and into our grandchildren. The goal, the concept of this is to make this country strong, not tomorrow, but for the foreseeable future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. Bear with me. We may have to take one step back to take 2 to 3 large steps forward, but we're going to be okay. I'd like to see him come out and do that and put everybody at ease. Now, if the mainstream media still wants to, try to, knock his head off behind it, so be it. But at least he's gotten the message out to the American people. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your man a coffee if you'd like to support the channel financially. Come join us at 9:30 a.m. EST, Monday through Friday, ARP in the morning, one of the best live streams and one of the livest chats in all of YouTube. Come check us out. Come hang out with us. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,